Hello guys, in this video we're going to talk about our second exams MCs. So please do the corrections today and then hand in on Monday. So if you can't finish during the lesson time, so just do it after you're back to home and then do it in the weekend, okay? So I will upload this video to the YouTube as well, so you can use the video to finish the corrections. Okay, so for the first questions, we have a cylinder, and then now you're giving that the total surface area is going to be 850 with the radius of 10 cm. So almost all of you didn't draw any graphs of this cylinder. So please draw the graph first. So let's draw the cylinder. So this is a cylinder. And then you label where is this is the radius, and then this is the height, isn't it? So please remember yourself what is the TSA, the total surface area of the cylinder. So first of all, in your exam, you should write down the formula first, the general formula, isn't it? So the TSA of a cylinder, which is going to be equal to the base perimeter, which is 2 pi r, and then we need to times the height, isn't it? So use the perimeter to times the height, and then we plus 2 lot of the base area. So the base area is actually just a circle, so plus 2 lot of pi r squared. So as the question is giving you the total surface area is equal to 850, then you can just set this TSA is equal to 850. And as we know, the radius is equal to 10, so I can replace all of the r to be 10. So I have 2 pi times 10h plus 2 pi 10 squared equal to 850. Then you try to solve these equations. Now we have the h is going to be equal to 850 minus 2 pi times 100. So this is 100. You don't want this 2 pi times 100, so you move it to the right. So it becomes 850 minus, before it's plus, isn't it? So I move it to the right, it becomes minus, and I don't want this 2 pi times 10. So I use the whole thing to divide it by 2 pi times 10. So now use your calculator, you can probably get the answer, which is 3.53, and then cm. The answer is asking you to correct to 2 decimal places. So please bear in mind that you have to draw the figure first, and then you write down what is the formula, and then use the condition. They told you the total surface area, which is 850, so you use the condition they're giving to you, and then substitute, replace the radius by 10, and then you solve the equations, isn't it? So you need to understand what you're actually writing instead of just give a guess. All right, understand? So maybe pause the video for a while and then you can finish this. So let's do question 2. So question 2 is a frustum. So do you still remember a frustum, which is actually using the larger cone volume to minus the smaller volume, isn't it? So first of all, you need to understand the frustum, the volume of a frustum is equal to the volume of the bigger one minus the volume of the smaller one, isn't it? So, and then you still need to remember the volume of a cone, which is equal to MO. What is the answer? Do you still remember this? So this is 1/3 pi r squared times h, isn't it? So now we can calculate what is the VDI, which is the larger cone. The larger cone is actually, the radius is going to be 9, and the height is actually equal to 21, because using the 7 plus the 14 is the total height of the larger cone. So the VDI is going to be equal to 1/3 pi times the radius which is 9, times 9 squared, and then times the height which is 7 plus 14. Okay, so using your calculator, you can get this is equal to 9 squared times 21 divided by 3. So giving you 567 pi cm cubed. And then the V size, still using the same formula, so 1/3 pi times the radius. So the radius is the upper one, which is 3, and then the height is just 7. So using the 3 squared times 7, so this one is properly giving you the answer is equal to 21 pi cm cubed. So that's the frustum volume. It's using the larger volume minus the smaller volume, so just using this 567 pi minus 21 pi. So 567 pi minus 21 pi, this one we're gonna give you 546 pi cm cubed. Okay, so remember, first of all, you write down what is the volume of the frustum. As they're asking about what is the volume of the frustum, so you need to recall yourself from your brain, what is the frustum formula. So in this case, which is the V die, the larger cone minus the smaller cone. And now you need the formula to calculate the cone, isn't it? So the formula to calculate the cone, which is 1/3 pi r squared h. So at least you have to remember all of the formulas and write it down in your blank place, isn't it? And then you substitute the numbers that you have to calculate what is the answer, and then you finally minus the volume between the larger one and the smaller one to get the final answer of the frustum. Okay? So for the next questions, this is a pyramid, isn't it? So for a pyramid, and then for this time, they are asking about, they have the rectangle, which is the length, which is 30 cm, the width is 14, and then the height of the VM, and the Vn is different. So one of them is 20, one of them is 24. So they're asking about to calculate the total surface area of this pyramid. So total surface area is not the volume, it's not the base area times the height divided by 3. Do you still remember for a pyramid, it's actually calculating when you expand, the whole thing is going to becomes like the base. The base is a rectangle. So this is the base, isn't it? The base, and then together with 4 triangles. So for these triangles, this triangle is representing by this VAB. So VAB, the base here, the base, which is 30, and the height of this triangle is actually equal to 20. So you can write it down. This is 30, and then the height for this is going to be 20. So this triangle and then the opposite triangle, so the opposite triangle is this one, it's actually the same one, isn't it? So this is 30, and the height is 20. And then now we can consider about this one. The right triangle is going to be this right one, the VBC. And the base is 14, the height is 24. So you label it, so it's 14 and 24. So similar for this one is 24 for the height and 14 for the base. So now the total surface area is actually just equal to the four triangles area plus the base area, isn't it? So the 4 triangle area is actually equal to this area times 2, which is 30 the base times the height divided by 2, and then times 2 because you have the 2 same triangles, isn't it? And then plus the left and right triangle. So the base this time is actually equal to 14 times 24, which is the height, divided by 2. This is for one triangle area, as we have 2 same ones, so plus times another 2. And then don't forget to plus the base area as well, so which is 14 times 30. So try to use your calculator to finish this. This is going to be 30 times 20 divided by 2, and then times 2 is cancelled out, divided by 2 and times 2 is cancelled out. So plus 14 times 24 plus 14 times 30. So the final answer is going to giving you 1356 and then cm squared. Okay, so for question 4 is actually looks like a ice cream, isn't it? So it's actually a hemisphere together with a circular cone. So let's read the questions. The solid consists of the right circular cone and the hemisphere with a common base. So the common base means the hemisphere's radius is actually the same radius as the cone. So the radius of the hemisphere is 6 cm and the height of the solid is equal to 14 cm. So the height of 14 means the total height combined with the hemisphere together with the cone. So now I need to find out the total surface area. So the total surface area of the solid is actually equal to the total surface area of the hemisphere. And then you need to plus the total surface area of the cone. So I expect all of you can write this down in the exam, isn't it? So you need to separate the things you want to calculate it into 2 things that you're familiarized with. So you know how to calculate the hemisphere's TSA, you know how to calculate the cone's TSA, isn't it? So now you write down the formula, the general formula for a hemisphere is actually equal to the half of a sphere. So half times 4 pi r squared. So lots of you always confused about the 4 pi r squared together with the 4/3 pi r cubed. So for this one, it's the total surface area, but for this one, it's calculating for the volume, isn't it? Because it's r cube. R cube is actually calculating the volume. Square is calculating the area, isn't it? Okay, so now we plus the total surface area of the cone, which means this is 1/3 pi r squared h. So now we know that the radius here is actually 4. So both of the radius is 6, sorry. Both of the radius is 6. And so what is the height of the cone? So think about it. As the radius here is actually 6 as well, isn't it? The total height is equal to 14, which means the remaining part is just equal to 14 minus 6. So I say again, so this part is the radius of the hemisphere, which is 6 as well. As the total part is equal to 14, so the remaining part here is just equal to 14 minus 6, which is equal to 8. So now we can substitute all of the numbers inside. So 4 pi r, the radius which is 6, so 6 squared, plus 1 over 3 pi 6 squared times the height. The height again, which is 8. So times the 8. So again, use a calculator to find out what is the answer. 4 times 6 times 6 divided by 2 plus 6 times 6 times 8 divided by 3. So the answer is going to be 168 pi. And then the unit should be cm squared because you're calculating the area. Okay, so that's for question 4. So moving to question 5. So in the figure, the total surface area of two similar cuboid. So the main vocabulary is the similar. So the surface area is similar, so that we have the 50 and 98. And then now the height of the smaller one is 8. So we need to find out what is the height of the larger cuboid. So do you still remember that the ratio between the length between the length squared is going to be equal to the ratio between the area. Okay, so now we can substitute all of the numbers here. Let's say this the larger height of the cuboid is actually equal to x. So I can say the ratio between the height, which is the length, isn't it? So the height over 8 squared is equal to the ratio between the area. The area's ratio is actually equal to 98 divided by 50. So 98 divided by 50. So now we can, I don't want this square, isn't it? So I give a square root to the right hand side. So the square root of 98 divided by 50. So this one is going to be giving you, I think is 1.4. So the height is just equal to 1.4 times 8. You don't want to divide by 8. You move it to the right, it becomes times. So it's equal to 11.2 cm. So moving to the next question 6. So you can see from here, this is a parallelogram. So for parallelogram, there's a lot of property, like the opposite sides are equal and parallel, and the opposite angles are the same as well. But in this case, we're not using for them. Now we know that diagonal sides, the length of the diagonals, isn't it? So do you still remember the diagonals is going to be bisect each other? So which means that the AE is going to have the same length as EC, together with the BE have the same length as the ED. So you can write it down. So we have AE is equal to EC. So now we have 3x minus 1 is equal to 11 minus x. So I said again, because the diagonals bisect each other, so now we have the AE is 3x minus 1, EC is equal to 11 minus x. So now we can solve this equation. I don't want this negative x and move it to the left. So it becomes 3x plus x equal to 11. I don't want this negative 1. Move it to the right, becomes plus. So 3x plus x giving you 4x equal to 12. So that this is 4 times x. I don't want times. So I move it to the right, it becomes divide. So it's equal to 12 divided by 4, giving you 3. So we can use a similar method to calculate the BE is equal to ED. So the BE is equal to 4x plus 2. The ED is equal to 2y plus 4. So these two are actually the same. So as we have the BE is equal to the ED, so that we can say 4x plus 2 equal to 2y plus 4. And now as we have the value of x is equal to 3, so I can replace this x by 3. So 4 times 3 plus 2 equal to 2y plus 4. So simplify it a bit. So this is 12 plus 4 plus 2. I don't want this plus 4. I move it to the left. It becomes minus 4 equal to 2y. And then this is going to giving you 10 equal to 2y. Don't want this 2. Move it to the left. It becomes divide. So y just equal to 10 divided by 2, giving you 5. Okay, so this is for question 6. I move to the next question 7. We have a rectangle. So do you still remember what is the properties of the rectangles? They have the right angles, opposite length are actually the same, and then the diagonals is actually bisect each other, and all of them have the same length, but this time we don't have a diagonals. So now we have the E is on a point here, and then we have BEC, which is 80 degrees, and then DCE is 20 degrees. So we need to find out what is X. So think about it. How can we find out this X? As we know, this ABC is equal to 90 degrees, isn't it? So if we can understand what is the angle here, which means we can use the 90 degrees minus this angle to calculate our 2x. But how can we know this angle? In this angle, it's actually inside this triangle, isn't it? So if we know what is the angle here, then we can use the angle sum of triangle to calculate, plus them all three together, and then so we can get this angle. But how can we get this angle? For this angle, we can actually looking at this right angles. So this angle is just equal to 70, isn't it? So this angle is going to be equal to 70, and then we look at this triangle, and by using the angle sum of triangle, you can know this is equal to, so this angle is going to be equal to 180 minus 80 minus 70, giving you this is equal to 30 degrees. So now we know the whole angle is a right angle, so now we can say the whole thing is 90 degrees, so that we have the 2x plus 30 degrees equal to 90 degrees, because this is 2x, this is 30, so two of them plus together is going to be giving you 90. So now we can solve the equations. We have 2x equal to 90 minus 30. I don't want plus 30, so I move it to the right, it becomes minus. So 90 minus 30 giving you 60. So 2x equal to 60. I don't want to times the 2. I move it to the right, it becomes divide. So x is equal to 60 divided by 2, giving you 30 degrees. Okay? So that's for question 7. So moving to question 8, it's actually quite easy if you still remember the intercept formula. The intercept theorem. So the intercept theorem told us if we have the parallel lines and then we have this length is actually the same, which means that the opposite length of this is actually the same as well. So now we can say that by using the intercept theorem, we can say that AB is equal to BC is equal to CD, so which means it's equal to 3. So because each of them is equal to 3, so we're asking to find out what is AD. So AD just equal to 3 plus 3 plus 3. So AD just equal to 3 times 3, giving you 9. Okay, so but you have to remember what is the meaning of the intercept theorems. Okay, so intercept theorem just means if you have a parallel lines, then together with these three are actually the same, which means the opposite length is the same as well. Okay, so that's the intercept theorem. So moving to question 10. So I skipped for question 9 because I think 90-something% of you get it correct. Okay, so moving to question 10, it's an inequality. So as I told you before, we don't know how to calculate for the bracket. So we try to expand the bracket, so which means we need to use the 3 to times the 10, together with using the 3 to times negative 3. So we have 30, 3 times 10 giving you 30, 3 times negative 3x giving you negative 9x. We don't need to change the sign right now because we didn't use our 3 rules, isn't it? So it's greater or equal to 45 plus 6x. So now I want to move all of the x to the same side. So I move it to the left-hand side. So I have 9x minus 6x. I didn't use any of the 3 rules still, so I don't need to change the sign. But for this one, the 30, I don't want it because they don't have the x. So I need to move it to the right-hand side, becomes before is plus. Move it to the right, becomes negative. So it becomes 45 minus 30. So negative 9 minus 6, if you're not sure, just using a calculator, negative 9 minus 6, giving you negative 15x. Is greater or equal to 45 minus 30, giving you 15. So the x is going to be equal to 50 divided by negative 15. So Amo, can you tell me what is the sign right here? Alright, so as we divide by the negatives, so that's our root 2, isn't it? So you need to change the sign. When divided by a negative, you have to change the sign. So it's changed to a smaller or equal to. So to simplify this one, we have the x is smaller or equal to negative 1. Okay? So, okay, so for this one, tell you some more. So Glauber, can you draw the picture for me? So this is going to be negative 1. It's going left or going right? Oh, you're correct. So it's going to the left. Okay, because it's smaller. Okay. So for question 11, It's a little bit hard to think, but still it's doable. So let's see it. So A and C at some point on the x-axis, you can see this is A, this is C. And then the B is lying on the y-axis, so which is here. And then the coordinates of A, which is giving you the negative 45 and 0, and the coordinates of B is 0 and 28. So the condition they're giving to you is AB equal to AC, isn't it? So the length of AB is going to be equal to the length of AC. So now they're asking you to find out what is the area of ABC. So if you want to find out the area of ABC, which means into base, which is AC, and then into the height. So the height is actually just equal to 28, isn't it? Because from the origin to the point B, they moving up for 28 units. So which means our problem just need to find out what is the AC, what is the length of AC. But they told you the length of AC is actually just equal to the length of AB. So we can just calculate what is the length of AB. So the length of AB, do you still remember what is the distance formula? So write down the distance formula first, which is the x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and then taking the square root. So x2 minus x1, so x2 minus x1, so it's 0 minus negative 45. And then we take the squared, and then we're using the y2 minus y1, so 28 minus 0, so 28 minus 0 squared, and then we're taking the square root, so which is 45 squared plus 28 squared, taking the square root, giving you 53. So which means that the length of AB is equal to 53, as they're giving you AB is equal to AC, so the length of AC is equal to 53 as well. So now we can say that's the area of the triangle is equal to the AC's length times the OB's length divided by 2. So AC, they told you, is equal to 53. And then we times the OB is the height, which is 28, because from origin, walk up to the point B, passing through 28 units, so we times 28, and then we divide by 2. So use the calculator, you get the answer is equal to 342. Okay? So for the last question is about the inclination. So we have 2 points. So you can probably just draw the point first. So this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. 0, 1 is actually here. And then we have 3, 2, 3, 2. So probably is here. So this is P, this is Q. There are 2 points lying on the same line, which is L. So you need to find out what is the inclination. So do you still remember the theta here? The theta here. So the tangent theta, the tangent of the inclination is going to be equal to the slope of L. So do you still remember how to calculate the slope? The slope is equal to the change of y divided by change of x, which is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So the y2 this time is equal to 2, y1 which is 1. So I can write it down. So 2 minus 1 divided by 3 minus 0. 3 minus 0. So it's giving you 1 over 3. So now we have the tangent theta is equal to the slope, isn't it? The slope is just equal to 1 over 3. So we can say that the theta is equal to the shift tangent. So just pressing a calculator like this, the shift tangent of 1 over 3. So the theta just equal to, so how many significant figures? So 3 significant figures. So we have 18.43 blah blah blah. So this is going to be approximately equal to 18.4 degrees. So that's all of the MCs that we teach, that we examine in the examination. So make sure you understand how to do all of them, and make sure you understand each step. And if you still don't understand any of them, just ask me and don't wait just for the last minute. Okay? So I think this is the end of the lessons today. If you have any questions, just ask me for extra help. Okay? I'm always here to help you. Thank you.